The program is going to get started right now. The biggest sources of motivation are your own thoughts. So think big and motivate yourselves to win. A very good morning and welcome to one and all present here. I am Prabandhan and I am a student of MA English Literature. Esteemed management, Chief Operating Officer, Principal, Resource Person, HOD, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, we are gathered on virtual platform to enhance our personal productivity through a new lens. I heartily welcome you all to the Student Development Program on Enhancing Personal Productivity, organized by the Department of English, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous. A brief introduction about our institution. Indian Academy Education Trust was established by Dr. T. Somashekar sir, who is a visionary academician and a dynamic leader. The Trust's vision of offering top quality higher education solutions is ably nurtured by dedicated and accomplished trustees. Systematic execution of long cherished plans resulted in the establishment of many educational institutions in the last 2 decades. These institutions aim to impart formal, full-time education and are duly recognized by the state and central governments and have been established and approved as per the guidelines of statutory bodies. The college is passionately pursuing its treasured values by offering quality and holistic education, keeping affordability in mind. In pursuit of those cherished goals, the institution offers 18 UG programs and 18 PG programs covering all major disciplines with student strength of around 3,000. The college is recognized as Star College Center by DSE New Delhi. The institutions listed under Indian Academy Group of Institutions are Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous, Indian Academy Pre-University College, Indian Academy College of Nursing, Indian Academy School of Nursing, Indian Academy School of Management Studies, Indian Academy Evening College. A number of centers have also been established in order to support the objectives and enrich the functioning of the formal institutions mentioned above. They are Indian Academy Center for Research and Postgraduate Studies, Indian Academy Center for Professional Excellence, Indian Academy Center for Entrepreneurial Learning, Sri Aurobindo Center for Education and Human Values, Indian Academy Center for Student Placement Services. Within a short span of time, Indian Academy Group of Institutions proceeded to transform into one of the most well-acclaimed institutions of recent times and has made an indelible mark in the map of higher education. The Indian Academy Education Trust aspires to design top quality curricula in a diversity of other disciplines and construct more institutions with state-of-the-art facilities. I would like to thank our esteemed management, Honorable Chairman, Dr. T. Somashekar sir, Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathy sir, our Principal, Dr. Jerome Xavier sir, Professor Geeta Ravi ma'am, HOD English Department, for giving us an opportunity to conduct such a vibrant student development program during the pandemic. I would like to thank once again and start the program with an invocation song. Prayer is the most important conversation of your day. Take it to God before you take it to anyone else. I now call upon Miss Ansu to invoke God's blessings by singing the invocation song.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer that calls me from a world of care and bids me up my Father's throne, make all my wants and wishes known. In seasons of distress and grief, my soul has sought and found relief, and oft escaped the tempter's snare by thy return, sweet jar of bread and a loaf escape the tempter snare by thy return, sweet hour of prayer.
Anything and everything done in God's presence and with His blessings is a definite success. Thank you, Miss Ansu, for the soulful invocation song. Leaders are made, they are not born. They are made by hard work and effort, a price which all of us must pay to achieve any goal that is worthwhile. I now invite Dr. Padma Priya Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good morning, everyone, and warm welcome to the National Level Student Development Program organized by the Department of English, Indian Academy Degree College, Autonomous. I feel dignified to extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Chairman, Dr. T. Somashekar, and sincere welcome to Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Srinidhi K. Parthasarathi. I extend heartiest welcome to our Principal, Dr. E. Jerome Xavier. I welcome our Head of the Department, Professor Geeta Ravi, and my team. A gracious welcome to students and faculty members who have joined from various institutions across India. I feel privileged to welcome our resource person, Mr. Anoop, Sequeira, certified trainer and coach. The topic of the webinar is enhancing personal productivity. The personal productivity involves strategically planning one's task and schedule to maximize the time spent on our priorities, both professional and personal. As a study from University of Chicago found that happiness is directly linked to higher levels of productivity. Thus, let us invest our time on improving personal productivity by listening the presentation of a resource person. He is going to enlighten participants the ways to maximize one's personal productivity and achieve meaningful success in life. I welcome you all for this wonderful session.
Seldom do people realize the weight of their responsibilities and their duties. But blessed are the few who are versatile and fulfill all their duties in excellence. Ma'am, on behalf of the gathering, I welcome you to. An artist is not paid for his labor, but for his vision. I now call upon Dr. Lata Ma'am, Associate Professor, Department of English, to introduce our honorable guest.
Good morning to all of you. It gives me a great sense of joy to introduce today's resource person, Mr. Anoop Sequeira, an entrepreneur, hospitality consultant, certified trainer, and coach. He is a graduate in hotel management and a master's in training from IATD. He is a professional in the food service and hospitality sector with 3 decades of experience in hotel, QSR, and the casual dining segment. He has served as the CEO of Pizza Corner, Starbucks, Nando's, and Booster Juice in India, and has been a part of the journey during which the food and beverage industry has seen phenomenal growth in India. Mr. Anoop is an articulate professional with a high ability to adapt to change and challenges, and he has used these abilities to excel in startup ventures. With his strategic and operational expertise in the hospitality sector and multi-unit pan-India exposure, Mr. Anoop brings in the necessary expertise to integrate startup food and beverage and to also turn around a struggling enterprise. Building organizational strategy, setting up robust systems and processes, sharp business and financial skills, and delivering service excellence are his areas of strength. Mr. Anoop is a trainer by choice and is driven with a strong desire to contribute to the transformation process of people. He's a master facilitator and blends in humor, anecdotes, and real-life examples to drive home the core objectives to the participants. Training programs conducted by him are well conceptualized, involving a high level of motivation and encouraging active participation of trainees to ensure lasting impact. He has facilitated development and behavioral enhancement programs across various sectors that includes FMCG, retail, manufacturing, hospitality, aviation, IT, real estate, and educational institutions. Mr. Anoop was also the recipient of the Franchising World Business Leadership Award in 2005 and he strongly believes that attitude is the foundation to success. Thank you, Mr. Anoop, our invitation to address our young minds on the topic. I hope the unfurling of the session will inspire new ideas and participants will be able to make the right personal choices in their life. Looking forward to listening to you, Mr. Anoop. I warmly welcome you.
Thank you, Dr. Lata. It's my pleasure to be here this morning.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our guest of honor, Mr. Anoop Sequeira, sir, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Prabhanjan. So thank you to all at Indian Academy for making this happen. This program on enhancing personal productivity. A special thanks to Professor Geeta Ravi for having coordinated this. And of course, my point of contact has been Dr. Lata. So thanks to both of you and the entire faculty team for facilitating this session. And also a big thanks to the participants. I see that we have close to 160 participants. So thank you for logging in on time. And just give me a second, I'll put up my PowerPoint and we'll get rolling with our session for today. Okay, so welcome once again for our workshop on enhancing personal productivity. So before I get into the actual session, just a few pointers that I would like to have a quick check on to just ensure that all of us are comfortable. Some of you would have been logged in with a laptop or a phone. Just make sure you're well charged with that because we're going to have the session till about 12:30. I hope you're on a D&D mode and as requested by the facilitators, do ensure that your mic and video is switched off so that we don't have any disturbance right through. Those of you who are on a phone, you could just make sure your notifications are off so that you are able to focus for the next 90 minutes on what the content of the presentation is all about. A notebook and a pen handy would be great. For you to just jot down your notes, there's a lot that I will be sharing today. And it'll be great for you to just jot down what makes sense to you in your life, what appeals to you, what you believe you can possibly implement. Just make some quick notes. And of course, there will be a few places where I will request you to do a small activity. So do keep this handy. And of course, a bottle of water for the next 90 minutes to make sure you're well hydrated. Great. So what you give is what you get. And that's something I strongly believe in. So I've come prepared to give my very best to each one of you. And what I expect in return is just your attention, your focus, and of course, sharing of ideas or sharing of your experiences based on what I said. And as Prabhanjan mentioned earlier, if there are any questions, do put them into the chat window. And I would be happy to answer that at the end of the session. Focus on the session is all you've been requested to do. 90 minutes of your time, that's your investment. And I would like to believe that I will make it worthwhile today for you, for the time that you're giving. And also look at it in a perspective, this is an investment you're making for yourself. Any program that you attend, I'm sure there is some 1, 2, or 3 top things that you can take away. So look at what are the top 3 things that you want to take today and implement it. So with that, let me look at a few things. Yeah, just a quick thanks. Dr. Lata had already introduced me, and just want to give you a rundown of my background. I've worked with food and beverage organizations for a large part of my working life. I've also been an entrepreneur, and I'm presently a corporate trainer and a coach. But something that I strongly believe that has worked in my favor in the growth and the success in my career has been my ability to organize myself, has been in my ability to articulate what I want to do in life, to focus on the priorities. Priorities keep changing as life goes on, but the most fundamental thing that we should remember is that we should be able to focus on this priority. It becomes a goal. So that's something that has definitely helped me. Another credibility that I possibly bring to the table to talk to you on this subject of enhancing personal productivity, especially that I'm addressing students, is that I'm also a father of two. My son has also passed on from college a couple of years ago. I have a daughter who's in grade 11. I see the challenges that they also face, especially in today's world where it is a lot's being done in the virtual world. So we do have challenges. So I put together this presentation, customized it for students with the aim of ensuring that I will be able to give you a lot of tips as we go along that could definitely help you in your career, just not for now. And this is something I would like to say right at the beginning. Productivity, managing your time, managing your priorities doesn't change. You'll do it as a student. You pass out from college. If you're going to do a higher education, you'll need it there. When you get into the workforce, you'll need it there. Whether you're running your family business, if you're opening your own startups, or you're going to go for a job-oriented role as a professional, you need these. You need your focus on productivity. You need your focus on managing time. You need your focus on managing priorities. So what you learn today, trust me, will be absolutely beneficial for you in your journey of life. And the faster you're able to adopt and make this a habit, it's great for your success. Typically in any session that happens, you would possibly say, hey, I already know this. Or you might be saying, this is something new to me. If you already know this, fantastic. Then just reflect and see, hey, am I implementing this in my life? And if this is something new, as I said earlier, see if it makes sense to you and see which part of your life you want to adopt this particular concept or an idea or a productivity hack, as I would call it. So let's look at what we're going to be covering today. The key outcomes that I wish to deliver today, and of course for you to take from this program, is, hey, how do I manage my time? We'll look at the difference between busy versus being productive. We'll look at some barriers to productivity. And I have, again, as I told you, tried to look at what could be potential barriers for students. And I'll leave you with some productivity hacks at the end of the session for you to kind of think about and say, hey, what are the 2 or 3 top things that I want to take from this? So that's pretty much what I have for you today. And let's kind of get rolling. Yeah, so there are times in our life when we find ourselves having too much to do, or we say to ourselves, hey, there's not enough time, or there could be a situation when you are procrastinating or postponing some very important, let's say, an assignment or a report that you have to submit. And if you do that, postponing for a way too long period, you'll find that you're now reaching the deadline date, and that causes stress for us. These are situations that we've all gone through in our life, and experience tells us that, hey, we should be more organized, especially when it comes to meeting important deadlines. But we tend to get stressed out, and that happens to us. And when that happens, again, experience will tell each one of us that will affect the quality of our output. Be it an assignment or report, if you're cramming up in the last minute and we're not organized, it's going to affect the final output. 2, interruptions. Interruptions are a part of our daily life. So I'm sure each one of you sits down to work or sits down to study, and then you get interrupted by a notification on your phone, a beep on your message. It could be someone, especially if you're studying from home. It could be a sibling. It could be a neighbor who's made some noise. So there are a lot of interruptions, distractions in our day. So we will be looking at how do I deal with this interruptions and distractions. I'll also give an opportunity to jot down your top 3. Okay. There are also situations when we've asked for our time. Friends may ask for our time and we say, hey, I don't have time to meet my friend. Our parents may ask us to run an errand. Yes, maybe not really now, but let's say pre-pandemic days when it was quite a regular feature for us to go across to the shop. Our parents may ask us to run an errand, and there have been times when we have said, hey, I'm too busy right now, Dad, Mom, I can't do it. I don't have the time is sometimes the answer. Have you thought about it? Is it really that we don't have the time? Think about it. Think about all that we just spoke about, getting stressed out, interruptions, and not having time. We go through these scenarios day in, day out. So let's unravel some answers and some solutions for us as to how we can possibly make life better, get away from this feeling that I don't have enough time, and let's see how quickly we can do that. So what I want you to do now is, I want you to answer this question in the chat window. What is time? What does the word time mean to you? If someone says time, what comes to your mind? What does time mean to you? So let's quickly have some answers falling into the chat box. Hey, thank you. I'm seeing some answers. Syed says time is money. Padma Kanta says opportunity. Time is a moment, says Preeti. Interesting. Time is future. Time is lifeline. Very interesting answers that are coming out. Time is memory. Yeah, if I remember something, it's memory. Beverage. Time is something that doesn't wait for anyone. Time is present. Time is something which cannot be changed, which means it's perishable, right? Once time is gone, it's gone. You can't change it. Time is opportunity again. It's a treasure that we're losing continuously, says Shivankar. Wonderful answer. Time is an endless loop. Time is precious. Every second is an opportunity. Awesome. So that's lovely. That's lovely. That's being there. So I think, yes, all of us do understand the essence of time. But having understood this essence of time, do we really value it? Do we give it the importance that is required? Something for us to think about. If it's so precious, why do we allow it to fly away? Okay, great. Thank you for each one of you for those answers. Okay, so another question with some answers that I will expect in the chat window is, let's say I give you 86,400 rupees today, and I tell you that I want you to spend it all. Do whatever you want with the money, spend it, invest it, I'll leave it to you. What is that you will do with 86,400 rupees today if I give it to you? Some answers in the chat box says that I'll invest it, I'll donate it, invest. Wow, I think everyone's got a great head on the shoulder. A lot of people want to invest it. Fantastic. No one wants to spend it. The malls are closed, I think that's why. Okay, I'll save it. I'll travel with it. Wonderful. I'll give it to my parents. A lovely thought, Preeti. Great. I'll invest it for the future, for a bad time. Yes, I'll save it for a bad time. Great. Okay. Someone seems to have caught on to what I'm going to talk about in the next slide. Great. Thank you. Thanks very much for all those answers. So yes, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a short video so that we understand the perspective of 86,400 that I kind of mentioned to you was in rupees. Let's go through this video and understand this perspective. Prabhanjan, I'll just request you that if you don't hear the audio playing out from the video, just give me a shout out, else I'll presume everything's under control.
Sure, sir. Definitely. Sure, sir.
Imagine you had a bank account that deposited 86,400 rupees each morning. The account carries over no balance from day to day, allows you to keep no cash balance, and every evening cancels whatever part of the amount you had failed to use during the day. What would you do? Draw out every rupee each day? We all have such a bank. Its name is time. Every morning, it credits you with 86,400 seconds. Every night, it writes off as lost whatever time you have failed to use wisely. It carries over no balance from day to day. It allows no overdraft, so you can't borrow against yourself or use more time than you have. Each day, the account starts fresh. Each night, it destroys any unused time. If you fail to use the day's deposits, it's your loss, and you can't appeal to get it back. There's never any borrowing time. You can't take a loan out on your time or against someone else's. The time that you have is the time that you have, and that is it. Time management is yours to decide how you spend time. Just as with money, you decide how you spend the money. It's never the case of us not having enough time to do things, but the case of whether we want to do them and where they fall in our priorities. So use your time wisely.
Okay, so if I just kind of connect to the video that we just saw and connect it to the money I asked you to invest, that's 86,400 rupees, and you kind of saw that 86,400 rupees when I asked you to invest it or spend it, there were different things that you could do with it. Similarly, we get this 86,400 rupees as time, and most of you gave an answer saying it's precious, it's money, it's something that flies away, it's perishable. So can we also reflect and value time equivalent to money? And I'm not saying that I need to have returns of interest when I say this. I'm talking about it, can I invest it in my health? Can I invest it in my education? Can I invest this time in relationships? Can I invest this time to spend time with my parents? There is lots that I can do. Can I invest it for a social cause? So, and the day flies by. So you have to reflect and say, hey, how am I investing my time as the day goes by? So there's something very interesting. Brian Tracy is considered the father of time management. He says this: time management is not managing time as it is constant. It is actually managing yourself within a given time. So stay with this sentence. It is actually managing self within a given time. Let me tell you something, that time management is actually a myth. You cannot actually manage time. The clock is moving. As I speak to you, the seconds are gone. I can't control it. But the minute I try to control it, that's when I get stressed. So let's not have our, let's say, a race against time. There's no way I can do anything about it. Time is going to get into a movement phase. What I can do, can I manage myself? And what this really means is, can I manage my activities? Can I manage all that I am doing within this given time? Which goes to also say there's an extension. So if there are 10 things that I'm doing, can I prioritize what needs to be done, which will add value to my life? So what's that thing that's going to add value to my life is my goals. What are the goals that I have in life? And I follow a very simple 3-step process. I need to have clarity what my goals are. Goals can be short-term, mid-term, long-term, whatever it is. And I'm sure each one of you have got goals. I need to have clarity. Because only if I have clarity, I'll invest my time and be productive in achieving those goals. If I don't have clarity, it's time that I get some clarity. Okay, with the current pandemic, situation change. So can your goals. You can change your goals, no problem. Life happens. But then it's important to have goals and important to have clarity on those goals. A clear focus. I need to focus on my goals so that I am able to achieve it. And third is action towards a goal. CFA is what I would call it. Clarity, focus, and consistent action towards a goal, which means that every day, if I have a goal, let's say that, any one of you has a larger goal after your graduation, you want to go abroad and do an MBA, let's say. So am I working towards those goals? What is that I need to put into place to get my focus in place? What are the daily actions that I need to take, or the weekly actions that I need to take to achieve that? Only if you have that goal will you start achieving it. If that goal is not visible, trust me, friends, you'll not even start. So I want you to do a small exercise just for a minute. I'll just give you 60 seconds. And I'm sure the answer may be in your mind. What are my goals in life? And I don't want you to drop that in the chat window. It's your personal goal, your professional goal, whatever you want to achieve, write that in the notebook right now. I give you 60 seconds. Okay, so if you've had a chance to write that down and post this session, maybe introspect, okay, is this the goal that I'm really working on? Do I have clarity? Do I have focus? And am I taking consistent actions every day, every week, every month as I work towards this goal? Some of you may have multiple goals, and that's also fine, but just keep that in mind that having a goal is absolutely important. Okay, so successful leaders and achievers make the best effective use of their time. They're constantly achieving a lot more. And one such person whose face you see on screen is PV Sindhu. Pravanjan, just wanted a reconfirmation that I'm audible out there, because I thought I just had a drop.
So yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Anoop, but the video is not showing in the phone, actually. It
The
is
video?
showing
Okay.
on Facebook, but here it is not shown now. After the video, it stopped. I don't know why.
I will stop share and I'll do the share again.
Yeah.
Dr. Lata, can you see the PPT now?
Yes, I can see now. Yes.
Okay, so we're back to the PPT. Yeah, sure. So that's PV Sindhu. So why did I choose someone closer to home as an example? And I chose her because she's been a successful achiever in her own right. She has won accolades for our country. But if I look at her journey, it has come with its own share of efforts, its own share of focus, and most important, clarity. I spoke to you about clarity. I spoke to you about focus. I spoke to you about action, consistent action. So let me take a couple of minutes to share her story, which I think most of us are familiar. So PV Sindhu has also done her education. She's also done a graduation. And simultaneously, she's achieved a lot in the world of badminton, which she could have dropped. She had the opportunity to drop education, considering that she was doing great in the world of sports. She chose not to. So the story goes that her father used to wake her up at around 4:30 in the morning, drive across 20 odd kilometers across to the other part of Hyderabad in the morning. By 5:30, she was on the courts to start her coaching under a coach. Would coach until probably 7:30 to 1.5, 2 hours of coaching, shower and head to school. Her father would drop her to school. She would go to school, complete her school and get back home, take some rest, study a little bit, again get back on her father's scooter and off to coaching, which is again another 20 odd kilometers drive for an evening session of coaching. Back home at around 9 o'clock, she would ensure that she's finished all her day, whatever she had to do. And most importantly, she would give her mobile phone to her mom as a discipline, saying that I don't want to get disturbed. And again, her routine would start next morning at 5:30. So what I take away from her achievement and her success story is small elements of discipline that she put into place in her life every day. And those small steps of discipline those consistent actions of hers helped her achieve a lot more. And there's a lot that we, each one in our own journey of life, can achieve and define our own successes. So, which comes to the point, are we busy or are we productive? There is a clear difference between these two words. So if your mom and dad ask you, how was your day today? Let's say a few months ago, especially when you were physically going to college and coming back home, your typical answer might have been, hey, I was very busy today. Or maybe some of you would have said, hey, I was very productive today. Either of the two answers. So just reflect and saying, if I'm telling somebody, I'm very busy today, does it really mean the same? Or is there a difference? To me, there's a big difference between the word busy and being productive. And that's something that we all should relate to. So I can be busy the whole day. I can be busy in class. I can be absolutely busy in class, but my mind is wandering. Whatever is being taught to me is not registering. I'm not listening. I'm hearing, but I'm not listening. But I'm busy. Or I could be busy on my online class. And I hope all of you are focusing along with me on this presentation, or are you busy doing something else? Think about it. If you are focusing with me on this presentation and you take something out of this and you implement it in your life, you would have been truly productive. So I can be busy doing nothing. I can be busy doing very, very small things. I can be busy doing trivial things which actually don't help me achieve my goals. But the minute I start focusing all my actions towards my goal, and I say to myself, I had a productive day. I had a wonderful day in class today. I learned something. It was productive for me. I focused. I didn't allow myself to get distracted by social media on my phone, or I didn't allow myself to get distracted by a wandering mind. I focused and I achieved. So that's productive. So there's a big difference that you need to kind of understand, especially in this journey, that I need to focus on the word productive. So nobody's too busy. Let's face it. Yes, everyone has 24 hours in a day. PV Sindhu also had the same 24 hours that you and me have. We don't have anything less, we don't have anything more. Same 24 hours. How I can utilize those 24 hours of my day? When I'm awake, when I'm sleeping, great. And I'm resting, when I'm doing some recreation, whether I'm exercising, how am I using my 24 hours? That will define your successful moments as you go ahead. And as I told you, it's not something that you will stop doing. You'll constantly do this. You'll constantly start saying, what are my priorities? My goals are my priorities. So let's move away from being busy and productive. You know, Steve Jobs used to have an annual retreat every year. And towards the end of the retreat, he would tell on the last day saying, hey, and in the last 2 days, they would have deliberated a lot of business plans, what they're going to do. So he would tell his senior management, please go back and list down what are the top 10 things that we should be doing to be absolutely productive next year, for the next financial year. So they'll go back and then they'll come back to the whiteboard and jot down the top 10. And he would request them to write this in order of priority, which means number 1 is the highest priority and 10 is the least priority. So once they finish writing all these 10 points on the board, which would be action points for the next year, he would take a duster and wipe off point number 4 to point number 10. 7 points would just get wiped off the board. And his senior management will be sitting in bewilderment, wondering what's happening. Why has he done this? And he would look to them and say, we can't do 10 things. Yes, we have identified 10 priorities, but you all have identified top 10 and you've listed down in these priorities. Let's focus only on the top 3. And that's what they would do as an organization, see where they are today in terms of the innovation, in terms of the marketing. That's the power of focus. So it's so important to focus on priorities. Okay, so how do I focus on priorities? It's possible that some of you have heard of this principle. It's called the Pareto Principle. So what does the Pareto Principle tell us? Look at that image and see what it's telling you. to me, it's telling that how can I put in 20% effort and get 80% of the results? Wow, it'll be awesome if I can do that, right? So how can I put in just 20% effort and get 80% of the results? So this is actually a management technique used in different parts of the leadership and the business world. Even students use it. So this is what I wanted to share with you. If you're aware of it, it would be a refresher. If you're not aware of it, let's understand that a little more better. So let's look at the bottom part of the screen where it talks about few vital tasks. I spend 20% of my time doing those few vital tasks, but they contribute to 80% of the results. So what could those vital tasks be in your own world, in your own education world today? It could mean that if I'm focusing on that important assignment that needs to be done and it's going to give me grades at the end of my term, I should be focusing on that. But if I spend most of my time on trivial things, on the smaller assignments, or they say the smaller things that may not contribute to the bigger aspects of life, and the trivial task can also include my time on social media, my time just browsing on my phone, or my time not really doing anything, or even, let's say, binge watching television. Is that really helping me achieve my goals? I'm not saying all those are not important, and I'll come to you. I'll give you some ideas as to how to bring that into your life. But is that really my priority? So think about it, is that, okay, where is my time really going? I need to focus on the Pareto Principle, use that 80-20 rule in my life, and work out my priorities and put that input so that I can get the best output. 20% of the right efforts can help you bring 80% of the results. So make sure that most of your efforts and actions are aimed at reaching the right goal. Identify for yourself what are those 20% of those tasks that will produce 80% of your results. And those 80% of the results that you see could be your goals. Am I putting in the right effort? Where is my time of the day actually going? Something for you to think about and jot down. So if I were to ask you to again go back to your notebook, just jot down very quickly, and I'll give you again a minute, just for yourself, saying that, where do I belong? Do I belong in this 80% of the time expended and I'm only getting 20% results? Which part of this graph do I share? And what can be that effort that I can start putting? Just jot down for you in bullet points, saying that what is that effort that I need to start putting that will give me 80% of my results, the output that I want, that will help me achieve my goals. Take a minute. I just saw in the chat window that there's a comment saying that I'm possibly presenting on 2 accounts. Is my presentation visible, right? I just need a reconfirmation on that.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing that I'd asked you to jot down was your goals, which you have done. Post the session, connect, spend some time to reflect and saying that if that's my goals, are all my efforts that I'm putting in helping me towards the goals? Or am I really doing some trivial tasks, the smaller things in life, and that may not be helping me achieve the goal? I'm not saying those are not important, but maybe you need to spend less time on those tasks. Focus more time on anything that gives you a productive and a successful future. Focus on those areas. Think about what Steve Jobs also did. He wiped away all the other priorities, saying that no, we'll focus on the top 3. Our human brain is also configured in such a way that we can focus on the top 3 and make that happen. So for example, if you had 10 tasks on your sheet, and each of those tasks takes 10 minutes to do, that means you have 100 minutes of work. The Pareto Principle makes you think, which ones will you start with first? All tasks takes 10 minutes, but the way to look at it is that, let me look at one task which will give me great value. It'll help me in my grades. It'll help me in submitting my assignments on time. It'll help me achieving my goal. That's how you pick up the task and say, okay, let me start with this first. Then the next important and the next important one. So that's how your focus comes. If you start on the trivial task first, you'll actually exhaust yourself. And by the time you come to the big task, you'll find yourself exhausted and start getting stressed because you don't have time. Okay, so barriers to productivity. So let's look at what are the barriers we face. And for this, I'm going to be requesting you to go to the website that's listed, that's shown on your screen. That's www.menti.com. I will just take a few seconds to put the same site on the screen so that I will be able to share a code. So go to www.menti.com, and as I said in the earlier part of the session, if any one of you feel that although you are using a phone, you will not get logged off and you can comfortably switch on to another Google browser and type in the site and stay on the call, do it, no problem. And those of you who are on a laptop or a computer will be able to comfortably open another screen. Let me just quickly share that with you. Just give me a second. If I can just get a quick yes that all of you are on www.menti.com so that I get an idea that most of you are there. If any one of you can't get onto menti.com because of your phone, no issues. You'll still go through the learning process. It's just that some of you will go through a survey process. Fantastic. I see a lot of confirmations there that we are on track. I will just share my screen. Okay, so I hope you all see the code on the screen, which is 822214. If you could feed in the code, it'll prompt you to start the survey, and I'll start the survey and I'll let you know when it's starting. Let me just brief you on that. Prabhanjan, if you could confirm that you're able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. We are able. Yes, sir. We are able to see it.
With the code, and if all of you can please put in the code 822214, and I will start. So just remember one thing, that there are a few questions that I'm going to be asking you related to managing your time, managing priorities, and productivity. None of this gets recorded with a name or a phone number, so please be absolutely frank and honest and give your answer. Don't give an ideal answer, guys. Please give an answer relevant to you in the present. What relates to you in the present? Don't try and give an ideal answer. And when you give an answer, reflect on that answer and see where you want to possibly improve, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Okay, great. So I'm going to start. You will soon get the first question. Just answer it. I'll give 15 odd seconds for everyone to answer it, and then we'll roll out a set of questions. Just give me a second. Okay, that's your first one there. I'm late for class. You have 3 options there. You have to choose often, sometimes, and never. And as I told you, feel comfortable. Your answers are not being recorded for under your name or your phone number. It's for you to do. Okay, we've got around 45 answers of them all. I'll just wait for a few more seconds. before I move on to the next one. Okay, I see people still answering, so if you could be quick, and I'll then move on to the next. Okay, moving on. I panic about being behind on my portions project work. So on your screen, this should have come in by now. You can answer it often, sometimes, or never. Okay, I'm moving on to the next. I regularly use a to-do list or a day planner to plan my activities. Now, this can be a diary, it can be on your phone, it can be on your laptop. But the question is, do you really use a to-do list or a day planner? Okay, moving on. I sleep for X number of hours in a day. So 6 hours and less, 7 hours, or 8 hours and above. Give honest answers, folks. Okay. I take part in physical activities or a sport to keep in shape. Do I do it daily, 3 times a week, or never in a week? Okay, thank you. I'll move on. I'm easily distracted while studying, and that source of distraction can be phone, social media, friends, anyone in the family, anything. Okay, thank you. I could save X minutes in a day, and this is very important, carefully. I could save X minutes in a day if I cut down on the unproductive usage on my phone. If you're browsing for education is great, but unproductive is all I'm talking about. Okay, thank you. I'm going to be sharing the results of this so that we quickly walk through and then we'll come back to the presentation. Okay, so Prabhanjan, you see on my screen, I've shared the results. That's on, right? Just wanted to reconfirm.
Yes, sir. It is on. It is on, sir.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm late for class. So that's great. If 18 of you actually said never, that's a great space to be in. But you see, a majority of us seem to be in the sometimes and the often. So that means that yes, that's just an indicator for you that I need to also focus on my time, being timely. Look upon it this way, that when you get to work, you may not have too many liberties to take at the workplace, right? To get in late. So we need to get into a discipline mode from day one. If you have to catch a plane, the aircraft is not going to wait for you. So discipline in all aspects is great. I panic about being behind on my portions of project work. And this panic normally will causes a lot of stress. Please understand that, and stress is not good for health. So again, a small size says number, only 15 of you all said never, but 17 of you says often, and 55 seem to be saying that yes, sometimes I do panic behind on my portions. So maybe we'll talk about it. What are the tips that I can possibly give you to get rid of this panic? I regularly use a to-do list. That's a huge chunk, 36 of you out of total of 90 who say I never use it. So to me, I use one. I've been using a to-do list, a day planner from the time I can remember, even as a student, because I strongly believe that putting it in memory space in my mind is not the best thing to do, because I forget. And I use it very efficiently to, at the end of the day, if I have 5 things to do and I strike off at least 4, there's a sense of satisfaction that I achieve. I sleep for X hours a day. 8 hours plus, fantastic. If you're getting that much, 7 hours is good, but try and get 8 hours of sleep. But for those of you who are 6 hours and less, please reflect and see that where is my lack of sleep coming from? How is my lack of sleep actually affecting me? And this is a big one, guys. If your parents have been telling you to sleep, switch off your lights and sleep on time, there's a reason, because it affects your health, it affects your productivity. Look back at the days when you actually didn't get great sleep and see how attentive you were the next day for anything, whether it's attending a class or anything. You'll see your span of attention is very less. And this is a big one in productivity. But not just when you're a student, even when one is working, you need to get, they say, 8 hours of sleep is ideal. Awesome. I take part in physical activities. So to those of you who do it, fantastic. On a daily basis, great. 3 times a week is also good. But majority of the group seems to be in the space of never. And we'll talk about it. It's very important to indulge in sports, indulge in physical activities. And I know right now, with the present situation that we are in, it's difficult, but you can still, even if it's in a small space in your house, you can still take part for, they say, 30 minutes. Refreshes your mind, refreshes your blood circulation, and makes you absolutely active. And at the end of the day, you don't need another pandemic to tell us to build our immunity system, right? So let's make sure we work on it quick. I'm easily distracted while studying, either by phone or social media or friends. Rarely, good space to be in, never distracted, fantastic space to be in. Often, very often, let's talk about it in the few slides as to what can I do. I could save XX minutes in a day. Actually, I'm not surprised that 90 minutes and above has got the majority. I was just wondering whether I should have put 120 minutes and above, because that also would have got some answers. So my feedback is to those of you who are spending less time on the phone, especially for unproductive usage. 30, 45 minutes, great. You see how you want to minimize it. But for those who are spending 90 minutes and above, think about it. Are you really telling somebody that, hey, I don't have the time? When your parents are telling you to run an errand, you say, hey, I don't have time today. Actually, you have the time, right? 90 minutes can come from your 90 minutes of this time can go into learning something new, something more productive of your life, doing the exercise that you don't have the time for sometimes. So multiply this 90 minutes into 7, or multiply this 90 minutes into 365 and see, and go back to the video and see the investment we are losing out on. Because I'm not here to give you a sermon on how to run your life, but something that you may want to just reflect, because you yourself said it's an investment. See where the investment is going. And there again, I say, we do need social media. We have, but there can be a certain time for it that you allocate in your day. Okay, I'm going to put back my presentation. So I put back my presentation screen, which is Interruption Kills Productivity. In case you don't see that, just give me a shout out. Otherwise, I'll continue. Distractions. Thank you. Distractions and interruptions, they're the biggest killers of productivity. Why? It breaks my focus if I get interrupted. If I was doing an assignment and I said for the next 1 hour, I don't want to get interrupted, and there's a beep on the phone and I open the WhatsApp, it's a WhatsApp message from a friend. I don't really have to respond to, I should not even have seen it, but I landed up seeing it. I've shifted my priority. My priority shifted from doing the assignment, it's gone into the discussion with my friend on WhatsApp. And I start interacting with my friend, and before I know anything, 20 minutes has gone away, 25 minutes has gone away. And now I take some time to get back to what activity I was doing. So research has shown that it takes an average of 23 minutes to come back to bring our mind back to focus on the activity we were already focused on before we got interrupted. Think about it. It takes a lot of time to bring back, and something important you're doing, it kills productivity. It could be a beep on the phone. It could be something at home when you're studying, or let's say a noise in the kitchen that interrupts you. Or it could be your own thoughts. You're actually doing some serious project and something's worrying you, and that worry is now interrupted your productivity. It shifted your focus and you forgot about your work you were doing. So again, in your notepad, give you a minute. What are your top 3 distractions or interruptions? Top 3. And the reason I say to you to write top 3, because trust me, my friends, those top 3 will be actually your biggest productivity killers. You don't have to worry about the next few. You focus on identify the top 3 and say to yourself, how do I take away these top 3 interruptions? What is that I can do? We'll talk about it if there are still things about in the question answer session. You can drop it in the chat window if there's some solutions you need about your interruptions. I'll be happy to address it in the last 15 minutes. So if you think that you want a solution or someone else in the group can help us, we will open it out. Okay. Very quickly, again, as I told you, I'm not here to preach or give you a sermon. You all are young adults, and I see the phone is a blessing, but it's also a pain, because we don't use the phone as what it was meant to be, just to make calls, and in fact, we use it more for socializing on social media. We use it for browsing for our own education purposes. We use it to hail a cab. We cannot live without a phone. That's a given. But then if I have to live with the devil, I don't want the devil to control me. I don't want the devil to rule my life. So what is that I can do? And there's a set of disciplines that I'm just listing down for you. And we talk about this even in the corporate world, my friends. It's just not that we're talking to you about being students. Social media, a telephone is a big source of distraction in the corporate world. So you spoke about 90 minutes being wasted. It's the same graph even in an office. No different. People are struggling with this. And it affects your own productivity. So what do? I place it out of reach. If I'm doing something important, and if I'm in my workstation, I go place this phone elsewhere. I can switch it off. I can put it on the airline mode. Nothing's going to happen. The world will not come to an end if my friends can't reach me. When I open it up, I will see there is a missed call message. I'll call them back. Not the end of the world. Turn off notifications and beeps. Biggest pain is that if you keep all your notifications open and there's a tweet that comes in or Insta message, you're tempted to go see it, and a lot of time will go off. Allocate time for social media in your day. Look at how you want to spend time on social media. Allocate some time. Minimize distraction and maximize your time on productivity. This is the biggest one across the globe. So don't be a slave to technology. And yes, even I used to wonder, before cell phones were there, how did we waste our time? Okay. External distractions, especially if you're studying from home, there could be a lot of distractions that happen. So make your room conducive to concentrating. Yes, we may have a limitation in our homes, because our home was never meant to be our college. Our home was never meant to be our office. But suddenly the college and office space has intruded into the home. So as much as possible, make it conducive. If some of you like to listen to music, well, put on the music so other distractions of other sounds are subdued. Inform family members of your study time if you're doing an important project, so that you're not in. If you have a sibling, just inform them. Keep them informed that I will be keeping my door shut. If there's an opportunity to do that, do that. Accept that a lot will be going on in the outside world, and I need to concentrate. I need to get rid of these distractions. Another issue is, especially for those of you who said, I don't keep a log, a planner or to-do list. That means I'm not really keeping track of my time. What am I going to do in my whole day? Day is just going by. It's okay for some time, but if you want to get to the next level of achieving success, getting more productive, it's good to keep a log. Try it for a week. For those of you who don't keep a track of your time, just keep a log. And that log sheet, you write from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and like that till the time you sleep, and see for 7 days, where is your time going? That'll give you a lot of answers, and that'll give you focus on how to change. For any activity that you do, they say allocate a start time and a finish time. No point just having a to-do list, because you need to have a start time and a finish time. Time your breaks very well. Please do take breaks and do time it. Okay, again, not a sermon on meals, but do you know that having a healthy meal on time is your brain's best friend? Because if you skip a meal, and if some of you are not in the habit of having breakfast, by 10:30, 11, you see what happens within your system. And that hunger pang is a big distraction. You have to eliminate that distraction by eating something, especially breakfast, because that's the longest gap you had. So eat healthy meals on time, because that's a big booster for productivity. Your productivity needs it. Okay. And of course, in today's world, we're all talking about building an immune system. That ties in. We have to do it. Okay, so some of us work very differently. Some of us work continuously. Maybe I've known students who sit down for 2-3 hours continuously, not taking breaks. Well, if you're in that habit, try and shift it a bit. Take short breaks. And I repeat, short breaks, so that you don't risk a burnout or a fatigue. After all, it's your body, it's not a machine, right? So you need to take breaks. Taking short breaks improves productivity. And during that break, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes. What do? Okay, you can call a friend. You can check your WhatsApp, no problem. Do whatever you want. Go for a walk. Grab a snack. Do anything that makes you feel good, but ensure you take short breaks. So there is a Pomodoro technique that places great emphasis on breaks. So what is the Pomodoro technique? In simplicity, it says work for 25 minutes and then take a 5 minutes break. That's one cycle. So work for 25 minutes and take a 5 minutes break. And after 4 cycles, you give yourself a longer break. And why do they encourage this technique? If you're been in the habit of cramming up last minute for exams, or let's say you're writing an exam, it's for 3 hours. Have you realized in the last half an hour to 45 minutes, all the answers come to you? They all come into your mind and you start writing faster. There's a bit of a pressure situation that builds up. Positive pressure, not negative pressure. Positive pressure builds up. So the 25 minutes, 5 minutes break also works in the same principle, that I'm conscious of the time I've allocated for a task, and I want to be under positive pressure and complete that. See what works for you. See, I've given an example of 25 minutes. For you, for someone else, it can be, I work 50 minutes and I take a 10-minute break. It's flexible, but just giving you a concept that you can possibly take back. And for those of you who said that I get less than 6 hours of sleep, again, my friends, 8 hours of sleep. They say that researchers said that 11% of the students are actually spending more than 6 hours on Facebook and Insta. And most of this time is in the night where you're spending your time. This is your sleep time going away. This is your productive energy going away. They talk about avoid binge watching. If you're in that habit, save your Netflix and your Amazons for the weekends. Have a time for it. If you think you want to watch a show, 45-minute show, great, go ahead. Have a time, allocate a time in the day, but don't binge watch. Schedule a time for anything that you want to online watch and reward. So the CEO of Netflix was asked, who's your greatest competitor? And people are expecting him to say Amazon or YouTube or any other online watching medium. He answered them, my biggest competitor is sleep. My biggest competitor is sleep. Google it. This is what he said. So you see what you are up against. All these programs are designed to be addictive. You finish one, what's going to happen in the next one? By the time you know, it's 3 hours of your sleep time gone. Okay. Procrastination, another big barrier for productivity. Why do we procrastinate? Because I don't have a clear deadline of the task. Okay, I'm supposed to do this task by end of July. I'll start on the 20th. 20th comes, I don't start. 25th, I don't start. 26th onwards, I start doing it. And see the pressure it puts on you. We postpone tasks. If it is something important, let me start. I also procrastinate because I don't have adequate resources. I don't know where to begin sometimes. I have a lack of passion for this task. I don't enjoy doing this task, so I procrastinate. Or I feel very overwhelmed. Oh, this is a big project report or that a big assignment. I'm very, very overwhelmed with it. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. So I'll end up procrastinating. So quick tips on how to overcome this procrastination, because this is a big killer of productivity. And you would have got, each one of us goes through this. So ways to overcome procrastination is either I see this task. Is it really important in my life? Is it helping me achieve goals? Why is it on my list for so long? If it's not, let me delete it. Possible. Can I outsource it? Can I ask for some help? Can I give it to someone else to do it? If I have no option, I'll end up doing it. I have to do it, then let me do it. I snap out of this procrastination. I talk to myself and I say, I'll do it. I ask for advice if I'm stuck. I ask for help. I can go to my friends. I can go to my professors and ask them for help how to go about this task. And if this task is so very, very big, obviously you can't do everything in one day. Chop it up into smaller bits. Divide it into 5 parts and saying, okay, this week I'll do the first part. See the level of satisfaction you'll get. You'll get the energy to do the second one next week and the third one next week. Chop it up. So if you have a big problem, chop it up into smaller bits. Okay. So quickly, I'm just going to keep a track of time. I think we're almost into 12:15. So I'm just going to walk through a few hacks that I've placed for you, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Is that good, Prabhanjan? Just a few more slides and we are good on time?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, especially in a work from home situation, I know we have limitations, but find a table for yourself and organize it like a study table. Make it look like your study table with books and so on. Keep it neat and tidy. You know where to find things. Because when you do this visual impression of your table, what you've created, will help your productivity. But if your table is cluttered with a lot of unnecessary things, that will cause you clutter in your mind. So organize your table, set it up for the day, especially from a study from home situation. Make things are available for you. If you know that you're going to have this particular class, keep your notes handy. Don't be scrambling for it. So that's something that is great for productivity. Smart task list. You do a to-do list, but more important than doing a to-do list is that set a deadline for each task. So try and move this to a calendar. There are a lot of apps today, and I'll talk to you about it. But the simplest one is the calendar app, which is on your phone or on your computer. Say from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm going to do this. I have a start time and a finish time for each task. And for those of you who are not in the habit of having a to-do list, please don't rely on your memory. In fact, it's good to throw everything into a list and give your brain a break. So you not forget something. Because you constantly don't want someone to remind you forgot something. So maintain a to-do list. It's a fantastic tool. The topmost leaders maintain it. They in fact keep a diary next to their bed on their side table. Because if they got some thoughts, immediately they jot it down. It's a good habit. Okay, I'm just going to walk you through how your scheduling a week is. This is just you can work it out for yourself how it works. Make sure there's a goal for each day of the week. Well, if you're attending classes Monday to Friday, I have a research to be done. Okay, that's my goal for the week. I'm going to do it. I'll do it on Monday. And typically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my high energy days. I don't know what it's about you. You decide what's it for you. I'm talking for myself. So if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is my high energy day, I do all the important tasks on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Important assignments. If I have to revise something, I'll do that. Great. But Thursday, Friday, I might do some unfinished work, some open-ended work, some errands. And Saturday, Sunday is my time for my hobbies, my rest. I can do my me time, catch up on that Netflix. Schedule your week. For those of you who are not in the habit of doing that, see what a difference it will make to your life, because you're in control of your life, in control of your time. Okay, so also identify what is my productive hours. Am I a morning person, or am I an evening person, or am I a late evening person? Identify your productive hours and do your high creative work at that point of time. In between hours, which are your low energy hours, it could be the second half of the day. You do some light readings, low energy tasks, errands. But identify for yourself, and each one of us has got it. And for each one of us, it could be different. I'm a morning person, so you give me something to do in the morning and I'll finish it very fast. But the same task, if I take it up in the evening, if I have to do a report, I might take 2 hours. In the morning, I would have taken 1. How do you make the best use of our downtime? A lot of us have a lot of downtime in life. Let's say you got a free class because there's some cancellation or a tweaking of the timetable that's happened. What am I going to do in this downtime? Can I listen to that podcast which I wanted to listen? You can do that. If there's an audiobook that you think you want to listen to, great. I want to do some light reading. A lot of us have a lot of downtime, especially, let's say when we were going to college, our commute time was downtime. How do I first of all, identify this downtime and think, what can I do in my downtime? You know, sometimes when I'm standing in a queue or if I'm at the airport, I use that time to clean up my phone. There are a lot of unnecessary messages that have come, or some videos that's just taking up my memory. I use this downtime to clean up. So find out what you want to do in your downtime. Multitasking is not great, they say. Our brain is designed to pick up one task at a time. So focus on a single task approach. So if you're studying one subject, finish that, go to the next. Don't pick up multiple things to do at one time. So multitasking to be avoided. Batch similar tasks. So if I have to give you an example, for example, that I want to batch some tasks. If I have to go to the shopping, to the market, if I go one day to the bank and come back, and then I remember, oops, I had to buy something from the hardware shop and I had to buy something from the stationery shop, and I make 3 trips. I need to be conscious about making one trip to save myself time and fuel and money, and I batch similar tasks. So even at work when I'm doing, and I use a lot of social media for business. So 2 hours of my time every week, I say, I'll do my LinkedIn updates, I'll do my Instagram updates, and I'll do whatever is to be updated on a social media. And my mind is only working on the social media. So that's a batching example that I'm giving you. So I won't do LinkedIn on Monday and I won't do Insta on Friday. No, I'll allocate 2 hours of my time in a week, because my mind will then function better to focus. That's the example of batching similar tasks. So I'll leave you with some productivity apps that I came across, which can help you. You can download it on your phone or on your system. Trello, Clockify, Toggle, and Evernote. I found that Evernote is nice, and there's a lot of, it's kind of free also, and they have a paid option. But they have a lot of things that can be utilized as a time management, as a productivity tool for students also. There's something for the workplace, there's a section for students. Go through it. Evernote is nice. Okay, so I'll leave you with a thought that you need to invest in yourself, allocate time for yourself to be recharged. It could be an exercise. For those of you who are not doing any physical activity, please get into a habit of spending at least 30 minutes. But that helps your productivity. If you have a hobby that you used to do in your early childhood, if you left it, pick it up. Hobbies are great. Travel is good. You get to see places. I know the last 3.5 months have been tough, but when the world gets back to normal, even traveling within Bangalore, traveling within your state is good. I'm not saying that you need to travel very far. You learn a lot from traveling. And get into the habit of reading. It could be also doing yes, you're going to college, but if you want to pick up a short course that will help you for the future, there's a lot of free online courses out there. You can still pick those up and do them. But invest your time into yourself. Remember, in this journey of life, You are the most important person. Make an appointment with yourself. Allocate time for yourself in the week to do activities that will help you to become a better version of who you are. So I'll leave you with this thought. There is never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. Thank you, and I'm open to any questions that are possibly there on the chat window there.
Thank you, sir. So before that, I actually request Professor Geeta ma'am, HOD Department of English, to speak a few words regarding the session.
Sure.
I request Professor Geeta ma'am, HOD Department of English, to speak a few words regarding the session. Okay.
I think ma'am is busy, so I think we can start with the question answer session. When ma'am comes, she will speak, Prabhajan. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now the session is open for questions. Participants are requested to post all the questions in the chat box. Sir, I'll actually read those questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Participants, the session is open for question answers. Please post all your questions in the chat box. So I had my own question one actually.
Sure, sure.
So I'll talk about the present situation in this pandemic situation where everything is actually going on through online.
Yeah.
And if there is a situation where we have just one source of online, that is like one phone without any external laptops and stuff, and we have to learn, we have to read, as well as we have to spend time on phone. In this situation, if we're actually studying in that particular phone, and if some messages pop up, or if we get some notifications through online, how can we actually avoid just sneak peeking through that particular thing?
Yes. I think it's a very valid question, and no doubt it becomes very, very challenging because that's right in your face. It comes into your face. I agree with you on that, and I think then it comes to a bit of a self-discipline to every individual saying that, okay, I will not open it, I'll not look at it. I know it could be someone from a friend and he said something that, okay, it's temptation is there. So the only answer I can give you is that, yes, we'll have to control ourselves and get rid of this temptation. Where I said to you, if I'm doing the work for 50 minutes, I'll say 50 minutes I'll try and avoid. Even in that 10 minutes, in those 10 minutes, I'll reward myself by opening that messages. That's all I can say. Temptation to stay away from that distraction has to be a self-discipline you'll have to build. Yeah. Is that?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I see a question from Prasanna. Sorry.
So I'll start reading the questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
So Angira Kar is asking, sir, can you expand on the concept of time matrix and how can we distribute our tasks in terms of importance and urgency?
Okay, I did not cover the 4-quadrant method, but Stephen Covey, who's written a book on the 4 quadrants. So that's another. See, there are multiple concepts for managing time, and I spoke to you about the Pareto Principle today. And the other concept is of the 4 quadrants. In simplicity, if I have to just tell you that the first, if you have to make your life into 4 quadrants, the first quadrant is what's important and what's urgent. Okay, in that, And the second quadrant is it's not urgent, but it's important to be done. Let's talk about these two quadrants because that's the question that he's asked. Anything that is urgent is only urgent because, for example, if I had to submit something on July 30th and I'm sitting on the 10th of July, it's an important project to be done. I need to start working on it. I need to start planning on it. I need to start breaking that into smaller pieces. I'm in a comfortable space. 20 days I know is more than enough in my capacity to submit that project by July 30th. Now let us say I did not do anything, I procrastinated. And suddenly I've not even done any groundwork and I'm sitting on the 25th of July. What happens then? Then the panic and stress will set in. And that task, which is important, suddenly becomes urgent. The urgency is created because I came closer to the timeline. And typically that's what put pressures on us. So it's very important, especially in an academic field where we know our schedules are all there. I know what I have to submit. We are given enough time. Can I schedule my activities and plan it out much better than putting stress on myself? The stress is created by us. No external system creates the stress. If I'm able to schedule and plan it, and I have visibility, I'll work towards it. I hope that answers his question.
Thank you, sir. So there's one more question from Prasanna. He's asking, I have made believed that scheduling, aka micromanaging things, are not good. Please convince me otherwise.
Okay, so yeah, I 100% agree with you, and I'm not a person who would like to micromanage things. When I'm talking about scheduling, I'm saying if my day starts at 9 o'clock and ends at 6, let's say, a working day, I need to know what I'm doing during this time. That's it. Including if I want to say I want to take a nap between 3 and 4, I will take a nap, no problem. But I will schedule. Okay, it may not be on my calendar, but I know that 3 to 4 is my nap time and I will not put anything else in my calendar. So there's a big difference here. I don't want to micromanage tasks, but I want to be in control of my tasks. Okay, so maybe Prasanna, we can allow the mic to be open for Prasanna and maybe elaborate on what he actually meant by micromanaging. Because to me, scheduling is not micromanaging. Scheduling is being more in control of my priorities. That's it. But Prasanna, you're welcome to open your mic, switch on your mic.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I've been going through therapy, and I think I've made believe that my scheduling itself is something like micromanaging. So where you become burnout, you face this kind of situations like burnouts and all. So if you micromanage.
Okay, Prasanna, a question to you. Who makes the schedule? You yourself?
Yeah, I have a list of items in let's say like in self-care. I have different items like yoga, meditation, different things.
Sure.
And so I pick up one of them in for one of the day.
Sure. So is it fair to say that you have the liberty to schedule your life?
Yes, absolutely.
Based on what you have?
Yes.
Correct? So if you are doing, and if you believe that you're adding too many things, that would be detrimental. You agree to that?
Yes, that's right.
Correct. So the point with scheduling is that you have to also say, hey, I'm human. I'm not a machine, as I told you. I am able to do only X amount of things in a day. And even if I'm doing 3 things, but I'm doing them very, very well, I'm happy. Okay. Micromanaging would be, I do not know here whether micromanaging would have a connection when it comes to scheduling, because I'm just managing 3 or 4 priorities in a day. And as I told you, if those 3 or 4 priorities help me, not everything works towards a goal, right?
Yes.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them is important to my goal. The rest of the things are work to be done. I have to do it. Okay. If I'm cramping my schedule too much, then I'm putting unnecessary pressure on myself. Okay. If I have not planned my couple of weeks very well, obviously the pressure will start reflecting on my work. It will come up. So to that effect, I need to be conscious about what I'm adding in my schedule and what I believe I'm capable of. Then I think I'll be in more comfortable space.
Yes.
I hope that kind of, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I think it depends on your potential as to how much time you can put in to a specific activity, instead of not forcing yourself into being more productive. Things like that.
Yeah, so fair. So if you're talking about it is all about individual potential. But it's just about saying that, okay, during, let's say 9 to 10, I will do this activity. I'm not saying you don't get distracted and interrupted. All I spoke about is try and minimize those distractions and interruptions to keep my mind on focus. As I told you, it's a positive pressure. It's not a negative pressure that I'm putting on myself. But again, if you think you don't like it, don't work on that principle. It's simple as that,
Yes.
Whatever helps you, whatever works for you individually.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prasanna. I hope that has answered your question, Prasanna. So the next question is from Kusuma. She's asking, can you please explain about smart work?
Okay. Maybe we could just have Kusuma just expand that a bit to what is the expectation, so I get the context of the question. Yeah. I'm just going to pull up a lovely picture that I have that could possibly demonstrate in a way what Kusuma is also trying to ask. But if she can switch, if Kusuma can switch on the mic, welcome to speak.
Sir, my question is how smart work is important, like when critical, like small duration of time, we cannot do like complete work, we can add some creative work to complete our works.
Yeah, okay. So yes, in terms of work, they always say in life you should work smart, not work hard. And it's not about the quantity of hours that I put in a project, it's the quality of time that I can put. So yes, being creative is, I think, very important. Bringing your level of intellectual and creativity to the table to do a particular task. See, even when we work in organizations, and let's say if I was able to do a task in 1 hour, and I got a result out of it. And let's say the task was given to someone else, and that person did it in a very different approach, took a 1 hour, 10 minutes, and the outcome was the same. No problem. And a third person did it in 45 minutes because he was extremely smarter than the two of us, and he also got the same output. I think you need to focus on the end result that you want to achieve. The means with which you achieve it, with your using your level of smartness, your intellectual, whatever you want to kind of creativity you want to achieve it, is left to each individual. So smart work does play an important space. It has a great space in today's work life where they say smart work any day overrules hard work. You have to work smart. I hope that helps you, Kusuma.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there's a question from Rinalda. She's asking, how do you stop letting your thoughts and emotions control your productivity and discipline?
Okay. As they say, our thoughts are created in our mind, and whatever our thoughts are, we then tend to act and behave as per our thoughts. So if I feel strongly about a certain thing or about a certain person and it's already ingrained in my mind, my reaction to that person or that activity, my behavior, will be a direct reflection of my thoughts. So it's very important to focus on the source of the thoughts, which is the mind. And that's something that you need to talk to yourself. And it's a total different subject and a different context, which one can talk about it. But in short, if I have to just explain that to you, is that the mind is a very powerful tool, and the human body can achieve wonders by just thinking about it. Let's say if my mind is very, very positive, I'm very motivated to do something, I go about that task and I will achieve it. But the day I'm feeling low, the day my mind has got negative energy, I'm demoralized. Come what may, how much effort I put, I will not be able to complete the task. We all go through this. So the first most important thing is to be absolutely positive, think positively, create positive energy. They also say surround yourself with positive people. Look at the people you have, your friends, and surround them and surround yourself with positive people. I spoke about unproductive usage of the phone. One of the most productive usage of the phone on WhatsApp is most of the time is not the good morning messages that keep coming. It is the motivational videos or motivational messages, and I keep starring them. And in my free time, I see them again. That helps me create positivity in my mind. And what is positive in my mind later on converts into positive action, positive behavior. And how do I get to that phase? The minute I start thinking negatively, I need to talk to myself. I need to snap out of it. I need to remind myself. You don't need a third person to tell you what you're thinking is right or wrong, negative. I think there's a bit of a self-consciousness, being mindful that my mind is going towards being demotivated, demoralized. So self-motivation also plays a big role. And at times, if you think you can't do that, talk to a friend, talk to a mentor, talk to a professor, and try and get some inspiration and then move on with that task. I hope that helps you.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Anjali Kumari. She's asking, being student, I usually have to attend online classes sometimes. It is not pre-informed. For that, I usually have to check my WhatsApp, which disturbs me a lot. Is there any way to get rid of this? Unwillingly, also, I have to check.
Yeah, but if that's the only source of communication that's coming in for any kind of a last-minute change, there is the only solution I can give you, because I also face the situation at home where at one point I had told my daughter not to keep the phone next to her when she's doing online classes, but I realized that sometimes those last-minute changes are coming. So then again, I would boil down to self-discipline, saying that I will only open that WhatsApp group for now, because if I open my friends' groups, I'm going to get distracted. Be conscious about it. Yeah, we're living in a bit of a tricky world right now with this virtual classes going on. This wouldn't have been the situation had we had physical classes, but it requires some changes in our own way of thinking. It requires changes in our own discipline. So bring about the discipline, say, okay, I will keep the phone next to me. I'll open only that particular WhatsApp group, and I will not open any of the rest. Make that commitment yourself. I hope that helps.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Pavan Kalyan. He's asking, how can we get idea about our 20% efforts will give 80% results? I mean, how can we configure those 20% efforts which can turn to 80% results, either efforts on goals or any other works?
Okay, so when you talk about the 20-80 rule, it's about going back to that priorities. What are the priorities that I need to focus on? See, every day, in fact, even in my workplace, I have 10 things to do, let's say. And I look at those 10 things, and I look at each of those 10 things and I create a value for it. For example, if I do this particular task right now, it will help me increase my business by X lakhs of rupees. Okay, that's my one task. Another task is to be done because I have to do it. It is an administration task. It's not adding any monetary value to my business, but it has to be done by today. So what I do is that I decide that anything that's going to give me some revenues in my business, that is my top priority. Anything where I can grow my business and business development, those are my top priority businesses, tasks. I give them higher priority when my energy is the highest. And that's compromises of my 20% effort, which is going to give me 80% of my output results. The balance task, I will say I will do it towards the later half of the day. I'll allocate some time and do it. Similarly, in your own studies mode that you are in, you've got to identify that what's going to help me achieve my end goal. So for example, let's say that you have an assignment that contributes to a significant part of your scoring or your end marks in your curriculum. So obviously you want to give it a high effort and a high priority task. But I'm again, I'm not too sure whether from a context of education, I would believe a lot of things are required and a lot of things are priority. But it's for each individual to channelize his efforts. I'm welcome to, ask the gentleman to open the mic, Pavan, right? And he can possibly give an example and maybe I can elaborate that a little more better.
Hello, sir. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Pavan.
I'm so glad to have this seminar now, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, for myself, I'm interested in both, sir, civil service and trading, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also interested in civil services and trading. So I'm always get confusing civil services or trading, which and efforts I should put on, and how should I go further?
Okay.
Sometimes I will go for the preparation, and sometimes I'm in trading. I'm in now training, sir.
Yeah.
I'm doing in demo account.
Mhm.
So how can I move further? Those two are important to me, in which I should concentrate, and how should I show my 20% of efforts in my in preparation or in trading? So I got in confusion. So
Okay, if I ask you a question, Pavan, out of the two, which is the most important for you? If I ask you to choose one.
it will be definitely civil services, sir.
You're given the answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
At the same time,
Go on.
At the same time, in trading also, I'm so interested, sir. From very little, many of them showed interest in me. So
yes,
civil services and trading, I'm both doing, sir, now.
Yeah. If you see, for example, I also run multiple, businesses. If I'm in the food and beverage business, and I'm in the training, I have already decided that I'm going to focus more on training and coaching because I get a lot of satisfaction there doing that. I'm happy, and I know that's my passion. I'm very passionate about doing what I want to do. Okay, so I got my answer there. Does it mean I will not do anything in the food and beverage business? No, I will do it, but I'll allocate lesser time. That's it. So to your point, if it's civil services, which is your top priority, your allocation of time and effort should be higher there. And next priority is trading. If that's the case, you will still give it priority, but a little lesser than the civil services. Does that answer your question? It's about then saying I have priority number 1 and priority number 2 and priority number 3.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So,
thank you.
There's a question of it's your own decision there, which you. Thank you, Pavan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pavan. Thank you, sir. So there's a question from Ek-Parna.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
So how can we be more productive and manage time for our hobby or anything when we are in mental stress?
Okay, can you ask Ek-Parna to come on line? Switch on the mic. Yeah.
Ek-Parna, you're welcome.
Okay. So these are stressful times for us. Anything can be causing mental stress. The environment can cause me mental stress. I just have one message to give each one of you because everyone goes through this elements of stress. And there are certain things that I can control in life. I can control any action of mine. I can control which college I go to because I've already enlisted myself in the college. I go there. I can control my actions. I can control my thoughts. I can control my behavior and my reaction to people. I can't control the government of India. I can't control the weather of Bangalore. I can't control the traffic of Bangalore. I can't control the words that come out of my neighbor. But I can influence my neighbor to say something positive. I can influence my friends to do something positive. So my reflection on what is going on around in the world today is that what's not in my control, let it not worry me. I need to stop allowing it to worry me. Yes, there is a lot of concern in the air today with COVID. We have to be a lot watchful. But if I've been told to follow a certain protocol of wearing a mask, sanitizing my hand, and maintaining social distance, that's in my control. Let me do that. Is the virus going to come and hit me? That's not in my control right now. But if I do these 3 things, at least I am in control. So don't stress yourself with things that are beyond your control. Life will go on. The world will move on. There's not much what you can do. Focus on what you can do to move forward with your life. So you said, I read Ek-Parna saying that how can I be more productive and manage time for a hobby or anything? So my only answer is, one of my favorite leaders in the world is Obama. And he served as the president of the US, did a wonderful job. And if you recollect, he took a vacation every year with his family. And he also went around playing golf. So for a man who's running the world's largest, I would say, economy, a great country like the US of A, gets time to go on a vacation, are we saying that we are busier than the president of USA? No, we're not. As I told you in the presentation, focus on your priorities, make out time, allocate time for what is dear to you. If there is a hobby, say, Saturday morning, I will do this thing on my hobby. For many years, I was saying to myself that I will go cycling. And many years I did not go cycling. But many years I could have gone cycling. 2019, January 2nd, I went and bought myself a cycle. I have now traveled in the last many months, thousands and thousands of kilometers. If I kept on saying to myself that I will do it, but my first step was to go and buy the cycle, right? Without buying the cycle, how will I go cycling? So then take concise actions towards your hobby or towards what activity you want to do. Take action, make it a reality. And you will find that all these actions will fall into place. Same 24 hours Sindhu had, remember Sindhu's story I said to you. She could have also given up saying that I don't have time. So let's focus on what we can do and take small action steps towards that. Good luck, Parna, with that.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from Padmakanta. He's asking, sir, could you please explain about hard work and smart work? Which one do you prefer and why?
Okay, I'm just going to put up a slide. Just give me a second. Can you see the slide? There's a JPEG I've shared for hard work.
Yes, sir, we can.
1 second. I prefer the second part, the second half, the below half part of the slide. I prefer it because I just don't believe in hard work. When I'm talking about saying that I need to do hard work, I need to take time off. I need to ensure I sleep well. I need to exercise. I need to eat healthy. I need to spend time with my family. I need to spend time with my friends. I also need to watch Netflix. I also want to ensure that I respond to all my social media interactions. I want to be alive, yes. So the question here is that if I just focus on saying that it's only hard work and I don't have a life outside my studies, that's not what I came to this planet, right? Each one of us came to this planet with a purpose. Yes. So if you want to study hard, and they always say, yeah, study hard and you'll be successful in life, of course, true. There's no doubt about it. But how you want to divide that circle that I've shown you of life? Because to work hard, if I have to also make sure at the end of the day, if you look at a machine in a manufacturing setup, it requires servicing, right? It requires oil. It requires to be serviced. Take your car, take your bike. You send it to a service. Why do you send it to a service station? Why don't you just keep running it? Keep running it make it do hard work. One day your car is going to collapse. One day your bike is going to collapse. So please focus from a perspective of saying that I also need to service myself. My mind needs to be serviced with fresh knowledge. They say that whatever knowledge every 2 years, 50% of the knowledge is irrelevant. Every 2 years. This is the world we've come to. My friends, when I was possibly in school, college, I didn't have a mobile phone. You guys have actually access to a lot of knowledge that's available at the press of a button. What use is this knowledge if you don't put it to any use? You read something good, you learned something good on Google, put that to use. If you put it to use, that's smart work. Simple. Everyone's got knowledge. Everyone's got access to knowledge. So I did a presentation to you. It's almost running over 90 minutes. If I didn't take back 2 points and I didn't act on it, if I believe in it, you should act on it. That's what I mean. As I told in the beginning, if it makes sense to you and you didn't act on it, no fun, right? Spending 90 minutes of your time. It's unproductive time. If you found even one thing that you want to take back with you and implement, and you implemented it and it possibly changed and brought about success for you, great. Now you've actually used that knowledge smartly. So how do you want to use all the knowledge that you have in a very smart way? That's what will make a difference to you in life. my son he works with an organization called Edelweiss, and he told me something a few days ago. He says, I'm learning so much more at the workplace now. I didn't learn all this in college. Fair enough. But I had to go through this college process, and I learned a lot of things in college. College also made me a man, right? From a boy to a man. It brought about a sense of discipline. It made me either a man or a woman. Great. There's a lot of experiences that goes around in the world. How do I use that tomorrow as I go along to run a business, I do a startup, or I work with some other organization? How can I smartly use it in my workplace? This is so very important. I hope that answers to you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Prabuddha. He's asking, how can I manage myself in setting up the micro and macro goals in my life? How important is to free my brain from deleting the unnecessary works in a day? Is there any chance of missing out any important work while prioritizing any 3 or 5?
The answer lies with each one of us individually. If I've got 10 priorities, I need to still do a filtration processing that what is the next, how can I break this down to 5 and how can I break this down to 3? And the way I do it is I allocate some value to it, not value in rupees. It can be value in how is it going to affect and impact my life of the future. Especially with when the pandemic happened, I realized there's a lot of things to be done around in the house, small work. So the first couple of weeks, I started fixing this, fixing that. So I took out my toolkit and I started fixing this. After a couple of weeks, I realized that, hey, I did not fix this for so many months. It was still functioning. So the thought dawned on me, something that is not broken need not be fixed. So I said, okay, it's important, but it's not. Then I said, okay, that's not my priority right now. I still go about doing this tinkering bit and using my toolkits and fixing a few things, but I now allocated time for the weekend. I don't bring it to my Monday to Friday schedule. Monday to Friday is purely that I will focus on what adds value to my business, what adds value to my coaching profession, what adds value to marketing. It's simple. So now I'm very, very focused. I'm not getting distracted by that little maintenance work that's required in my house. I'm not getting distracted. Nothing's going to happen. It can happen on Saturday, Sunday. As I told you, the world will not come to an end. So you need to identify out of the 10, what's really adding value to your life. You need to identify individually. You have to answer it for yourself. And you'll experience it as you go along, saying that I focus on the top 3, and you'll feel that, okay, these 3 things are really making a difference. And then you start working towards the goal. Again, I say to you, the balance 7 are not that it's not important, but can I do it after a couple of weeks? That's your call. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Anoop, I think we'll just take one more last question. If anybody wants to ask a question, you're free to ask. I think Gully has given a long question there. If you want to talk, we'll ask her. Otherwise, if anybody is interested, anybody has a question, can ask.
So my question was, we talk about productivity and dedicating the entire day, like so many seconds that you told.
Yeah.
But what is the point of doing so much and like when you don't, because a lot of people don't reach their goals. Their goals are idealistic. When they don't reach them, they eventually they can't face that failure.
Yep, true.
So you're missing out on all real life experiences by just working really hard and you might not reach where you want to. So you're miserable the rest of your life.
True. Gali, right? Your name is?
Yes, sir.
Gali, you bring up a very, very valid point, and I'm happy that this is coming up. Set yourself up for success. Keep your goals what are reasonable, what you believe are achievable. You may want to have a bit of a stretch goal saying that, yes, I want to achieve it. Okay? But if you did not achieve your goal, I repeat, if you did not achieve your goal, it does not mean you are a failure. If you did not achieve a goal, it does not mean that you have failed. But the process failed. The process that you applied to reach your goal failed. You learn from that. And if you want to try once more, go for it. don't have to give up. If I am setting up a very, very highly ambitious goal, sometimes I might be setting up myself for disappointment. So I need to be realistic about my own capabilities and set up a goal which I know is achievable. It's as simple as that. At the same time, I want to address the second part. And I said to you, we've not come to this planet to only study, work. And that's why I put that other circle there saying that here we need to also spend time with our families. We need to have fun. We have to go watch a movie. That's all life is all about. I did not say don't watch Netflix, right? I said allocate some time. Net binging might affect your health. That's about it. Balance it out. And if to each one his own, how you want to balance it. So yes, spend your youth doing things that make you happy. Strive for happiness. And if you believe that I need to kind of spend time spend that kind of time to also simultaneously pursue some goals in my life. It depends on each one how much weightage you want to give. There is no hard and fast rule that each one of us has to be a PV Sindhu. I'm not advocating that. I'm not a PV Sindhu, but I'm happy with what I've achieved. And does that mean I have not had my shares of failure? Of course I've had. But then I've got up from those points of failure and I said to myself, okay, I've learned from this. When I do this again, I will apply the learnings. Yes, we also live in a country where sometimes we don't get set up for failures. So I would encourage each one of us to acknowledge failing is good because I learned from that failure. Now, if you don't learn from that failure, now there's something wrong there. If I learn from that failure, please apply it in the future and set yourself up for the success of the future. But thank you, Gali, for bringing that up. I hope that addresses you. It's in some form.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Anoop, there are so many questions. So I think if you can give them your mail ID, if it is okay, they would ask questions to you.
No, please, I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to do that. I will just share that on the screen right now, and I'll be happy to even I'll be even happy to coach and guide, time permitting. No problem from my side, because I strongly would like to put a focus on saying there's a lot that we can achieve, and if there's any contribution from my side to help any individual, I'll be happy to do it. So I'm just putting that on screen right now.
Yeah. So the questions that are not answered, please mail it to sir. He will definitely make time and reply to you all. So, yeah.
Maybe my presentation took a little longer than I expected, so I do not know whether we had enough time for question answers, but my apologies for that. Yeah. So
yes, Mr. Ram.
Yeah, so I've just shared it on screen. You see that my email ID is there, my LinkedIn is there, and my Insta is also there. So I've shared my email ID on screen. So you can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your valuable answers. There are still a lot of questions popping up in the chat box, but due to lack of time, we have to end the question answer session right here. Now I would request Sakina Ravi, HOD Department of English, to speak a few words regarding the session. And participants, please do not leave the session right now, because the feedbacks link will be in the chat box. If you fill the feedback form, then you will get the certificate, e-certificate. And the feedback form's link will be posted in few minutes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Anoop Sequeira, corporate trainer, coach, student participants, my dear colleagues. Mr. Anoop, please accept my gratitude and appreciation having accepted our invitation, and you spent quite a lot of time on preparation and the time that you spent since morning till afternoon. It was a valuable time, and thank you for sharing your expertise with our student community. They are the future torch bearers. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good luck in future. And I hope that we will be associated with you in future to coach our students, the teachers, if the need arises. Students, that was a overwhelming response from your side. I do understand that you have classes to attend. In spite of that, you found time and you could actually attend the program. Productivity is a measure of efficiency of a task. Building a thriving career requires efficient use of your time and resources. Time is a great asset. It's important to keep an eye on how you use your time and what makes you productive. Productivity is never an accident. It always the effect of dedication to excellence, intelligent planning, and purposeful effort. You need to starve your distraction and feed your focus. I would just like to quote Brain Chasi, dedicate yourself to continuous personal improvement. You are your most precious resource, unquote. I wish you all best of luck for your future endeavors. Thank you very much. Have a good day, all of you.
Thank you for your valuable words, ma'am.
Thank
Gratitude.
you. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Now I call upon Ms. Shala, BA student, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. A goodbye can be a bitter thing, but today we all part, not alone, but with lessons to last us a lifetime. Since they say that the future is created by what we do today, I am certain that I speak on behalf of everyone here when I say that since we spent today productively, we've started paving the way for a brighter future. I'd like to thank, first and foremost, our respected speaker, Mr. Anoop Sequeira, for priming us for a future where using our time productively will be what sets us apart from the rest. We thank you, sir, from the bottom of our hearts. I'm also honored to thank our Honorable Chairman, Dr. T. Somashekar, our respected COO, Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi, and our beloved Principal, Dr. E. Jerome Xavier, without whom this event wouldn't have seen the light of day. I'm also much obliged to thank the HOD of the Department of English, Professor Geeta Ravi, for creating this opportunity to allow us to learn and grow, and the faculty members, resource persons, and our IT manager, Mr. Chandan, who made this webinar a reality. I would also be remiss not to thank the faculty of other colleges that may have joined us today. We are grateful for your presence, ma'ams and sirs. Finally and conclusively, thank you students and keen learners alike for joining us in this moment of self-improvement and progress. We wish you the best and most productive future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Drusilla. I have to repeat, the feedback form is posted in the chat box. Participants, please fill the feedback form to receive the e-certificate. Live as you were to die tomorrow. Learn as you were to leave tomorrow. Thank you. You have been a wonderful audience, and we hope that we have been a good host equally. This is Prabhanjan signing off. Thank you very much.